Now we've gotten to a leadership position. We're in that leadership position. And now it comes to how are we actually going to build a team? I want to start with an issue I see pretty frequently with leaders. Matt is a chief operating officer who seems to have a hard time building an effective team and connecting with his current workforce. I know you're in the team building business.
Yes.
You're out there trying to make it happen. What's going on? What are you running into for issues?
Ultimately, and I don't want to generation bash or anything like that, but the reality is what I have found is we have plenty of work to go around. I'm not finding people that are willing to do the work, and then when someone is willing to come in and do the work, aren't passionate about what their role is in what our mission is.
I got asked this question or a form of this question so many times over the last 10 years. Because, you know, people would talk to me about millennials this and Gen X that and boomers the other thing, right? Everyone's at fault. And so I thought to myself, who would be the hardest workforce to try and manage? And it didn't take me very long to go through a bunch of different workforces, and I came up with the draftee in the Army or in the Marine Corps in Vietnam.
Wow.
Okay, so what do you end up with? You end up with someone that does not want to do that job at all. That is completely against the mission that you are on, and the job and the mission can actually get them killed.
Yeah.
As I started reading and really dialing into what leaders thought of these draftees, what I found was there are some leaders that would say, well, the draftees didn't have the right attitude, the draftees didn't step up, the draftees didn't want to be there. But I found other leaders, notably Colonel David Hackworth. He loved the Army more than anything. And you know what he thought of those draftees? He said, I loved them. He loved them. And he explains why. He said, if I came up with a dumb idea, they'd push back. If I told them to go do something, they'd want to know why they had to do it. And the reason that he loved those draftees is because he was an outstanding leader. Ultimately, when we have a problem with our team, we need to look at ourselves. If my team isn't doing what I want them to do, my instinct isn't to blame the team. My instinct is to look at myself and say, wait a second, how am I not leading them correctly where they will do what they need to do? What mistakes am I making that I can adjust and change so that I improve my ability to bring people into the organization? One of my favorite tools of leadership is leadership itself. I use leadership to teach people, to train people, to mentor people, and to adjust their confidence levels. So if I've got someone on my team that is overconfident, they're getting arrogant, they're getting cocky, what I will do is put them in a leadership position that's slightly above their capacity, slightly above their ability. Listen, I'm not gonna let them fall on their face. I'm not gonna let them blow a deal with a client or mess up a manufacturing line, but I'm gonna make them feel that, oh, I'm not quite as good as I thought. I am going to allow them to get humbled. Now, you take someone that lacks confidence, what am I gonna do with them? I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna give someone that lacks confidence a task or a project or a mission that's slightly below what they're capable of. So they go and they get that accomplished and they do a good job, and guess what happens? Their confidence goes up. So I love to use leadership as a tool to train people, to improve people, to give people that opportunity to get better. Maybe that means increasing their confidence. Maybe it gives them a little bit of an ego check. So when I have people on my team that don't want to step up and do work, that don't want to take ownership of things, I know that there's some changes that I need to make in order to bring them up to speed. Now, occasionally, those changes do go beyond your own leadership strategy, and you will need to adjust your team. So, how do you deal with underperformers? I like to follow something I call the escalation of counseling. So if you didn't get your project done on time, I don't say, oh, you're fired. No, I say, hey, it looks like your project wasn't done on time. What happened? Did you get the support that you needed? Is there anything else you needed from me? And maybe you tell me some things that would have helped you complete the project. And now next time I can give you those things. Maybe that solves the problem. Or maybe your next project is late. And now what do? I'm gonna escalate that counseling. And I'm gonna say, hey, listen, last time the project didn't get done on time. That cost us a pretty good relationship we had with our client. And now this project is also not done on time. What is going on? This is not acceptable. And as a matter of fact, if you're late with another project, I'm actually gonna have to write you up. And maybe that, you find that you've been written up, you see it in writing, you think, oh, Jacko's definitely not kidding. I'm definitely gonna be in trouble if I am late with a project again, and maybe that solves the problem, or maybe it doesn't solve the problem. And if it doesn't solve the problem, I'm gonna escalate that to counseling again, and I'm gonna actually execute the consequences that I told you I would execute, whether that means demoting you, whether that means moving you to a different department that you can handle, or firing you. But you will know it's coming, and I will be perfectly comfortable imposing those consequences on you because I gave you every opportunity to correct yourself. But to build an effective team and avoid ever getting there, remember to provide leadership opportunities to team members as a tool to optimize team dynamics. Problems with your team can often be solved by working on your own leadership skills. And if that doesn't work, utilize the escalation of counseling before dismissing a team member. Coming up next, I'll talk about a chaotic and ultimately deadly day on the battlefield that changed the way that I think about leadership. And then, like a bolt of lightning, it hit me.